Hello and good evening, everyone. I want to welcome everybody in the chat to the first ever episode of Primetime Gaming with Mr. BoomStick and friends. Now, tonight's show is kind of like a zero issue of your favorite comic because Gamescom 2019, Inside Xbox, and Jeff Keighley's opening night took place earlier today. Well, I couldn't resist gathering the crew to talk about what exactly transpired, and there is quite a bit to talk about. Now, this is a big show and a big deal for me personally because as I close in on 2 hours from my very first video, I said 2 hours, 2 years ago, November 3rd of 2017 is when I did my first video, and quite frankly, it's horrendous. It's still up there, it has no thumbnail, the sound is off, the gameplay looked really not good. I was really, like I said, I jumped into this heels first, but I've always dreamed of doing my own evening podcast similar to to other great shows that we all listen to each and every week. And of course, I'm talking about RDX, the Basement Radio Arcade podcast, the Saltiest podcast, and of course, Crossfire, where I got my start. Now, podcasts are nothing without panel members to help power the show. And thanks to these amazing community members, I now have a panel that will be here each and every week. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. The panel was supposed to be 6 people plus myself. Unfortunately, we're down 3 people. Clowns is not feeling well. So Shady, I'm not sure if he's feeling well. And of course, Cybernox, who's a regular panel member on this show, got stuck at work. So I did send an invite out to a few people, and hopefully they would, be able to jump in, as soon as they can get here. But look, let's get into the introductions and let's talk about gaming, because that's what everyone is here to listen to. First up, we have a gamer whose undying skills in Destiny have no match and no limit. He's our inside man to everything GameStop. He's an incredible father, husband, and one heck of a community member, creator of the amazing Gaming Forte YouTube channel, and an integral part of the Basement Radio Arcade podcast and the Scumcast run by the lovely Luca, which are weekly shows. Please welcome Guardian Forte.
Oh man, I wasn't expecting the Friday treatment on a Monday. This one I feel juvenated. I feel juice. What's up, Boom? What's up, chat, man? Gamescom, man. This is like the second E3. Super excited. Got to see some really cool things and not some pretty cool things. So definitely can't wait to get into these topics.
Well, listen, it's gonna be a lot of fun tonight. Like I said, I'm hoping to get a few people in to kind of stretch out tonight's show, because normally it's going to run at 2 hours. Unfortunately, this was an episode that wasn't really planned, because the show's launch technically is going to be on September 9th. And of course, with Gamescom, I just couldn't pass up the opportunity to try and gather up the troops and talk about stuff. But let's move on to the next member. And this is again, I wrote these a couple of days ago, these openings, and I'm pretty sure that these are going to be the standard openings. I will change them up because I know people enjoy them. Next up, we have a Black Desert legend who says it's an MMO life for him. A gamer who will save the universe from the clutches of the profound darkness when Phantasy Star Online 2 releases in 2020. An Apex Legend assassin on the level of Agent 47 and an Overwatch player who understands that there's no I in team. Please welcome Tempestsun.
Hey, Boom. That was an amazing intro. I absolutely love it. I would be honored to hear that and get that intro every week. That's awesome, dude. I appreciate it. Yeah, Gamescom just happened. We have a lot to get to dig into, so let's get it started.
Well, listen, obviously the big show that happened today has to do with many developers, many publishers, and of course, Nintendo themselves, led off Gamescom with their 25-minute. It was like a Nindies thing. There really wasn't a lot to really like about it. I'm going to be honest with you. There were some smaller titles released, but, you know, I mean, I was hoping for more from them. But, you know, obviously the showstopper for me personally, and I think for everyone in this chat, and I think everybody on this panel, even though the panel's a little small right now, has to be the revelation that Gears 5 is probably not going to suck. I'm just going to throw that out there. Now, you know, the way that they did it today was, I thought, a master stroke, in my opinion, of genius. You know, obviously, Inside Xbox was pretty much what I expected it to be. I did expect a studio announcement, and that was obviously, we heard that might happen. It didn't happen. Okay, not a problem. They saved, in my opinion, the best for last, which, of course, Rod Ferguson was there, and he showed off Gears Horde. Now, Gears Horde, you see, the one thing that I've heard in the last couple of months prior to us really seeing anything with Gears, even prior to E3, was that people, and I'm not picking on the community, I'm just saying folks, you know, community members, well, it's just Gears. It's probably just going to be Gears. And what is a little frustrating about hearing just, you know, those words like, oh, it's just Gears, is that this is the one game across many genres, across many platforms, that offer their players literally so much to do that you don't know what to do first. You have a massive single-player campaign, which we'll get into a second. You have your versus mode, which is probably one of the most popular versus modes in gaming, to be honest, which is Gears. And then you have Horde mode. So you have 3 modes. And on top of that, there are still 5 other modes that we don't know about. There's a total of 10 new modes coming to multiplayer. We only know 5 of them. And what they showed off today was nothing short of genius, and really should have stoked the flames. If you were kind of like sitting and your ambers were starting to go out in the oven, after seeing today's Horde mode, there was a lot to get excited about. And of course, I want to go to Tempestsun, because we were talking prior to going live. What were your thoughts and your opinions on what they showed today?
Big, man. Big. I love your point about you don't know what you're going to do first, because honestly, you don't know if you want to increase your chops in the multiplayer, you know, get in there early when everybody's still kind of noobish a little bit, try to get good at the multiplayer. You don't know if you want to get in there and get into the Horde mode and start playing around with the different classes. I'm probably going to jump into the campaign first, just because I actually really enjoy the story throughout Gears. That's probably what I'll be doing first, but the stuff that they showed is phenomenal. I mean, I'm sitting there at work, you know, trying to look at my phone every chance I get. Did they show it yet? Did they show it? And I saw your guys in the DM. They're like, oh man, it looked amazing. I'm like, crap. I tried to hurry up as quick as I could, so I had a chance to look at it. And when I did, I wasn't disappointed. It looks amazing, dude. I can't wait. September 6th, just absolutely cannot get here soon enough. Big, like I said, big. I mean, the set pieces they showed in the single player, the campaign portion, there wasn't a lot of repetition in there. There really wasn't. There's different types of landscapes, different types of enemies that you haven't seen before. And it just looks much more cinematic this time around. So I can't wait. I think if anybody was wondering if it actually be good or not, I mean, I don't know why you would wonder about that. Every Gears, Judgment was okay, but every Gears, numbered Gears game has been fantastic, and I think this is going to be the best out of all of them.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Like I said, we're going to break down the single-player campaign as soon as we're done talking about Horde. Of course, Nautical, I have to go to next on this. You know, Forte, there were a lot of doubts for Gears 5, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I really think, and I said this on Twitter, and I was very forceful about it. And normally I'm not. Like I don't like to, I don't push my opinion on anybody. But I said a statement out there that if you walked away from either of these trailers disappointed, I'm pulling the fraud alert. I'm gonna pull a King David here and find the light to put on,
Right.
because there is a whole mess of gaming to get excited about. And really what excites me more than anything is a few things, Forte. One, we're going to be all of us are playing this in a couple of weeks. We don't have to wait until November or December to play this. We're playing this in a couple of weeks. But more so than that, the level of polish that was displayed in Horde was bananas. And the fact that they have these ultimates now where each character has their own thing. I mean, JD drops bombs from the sky. Kate goes invisible like the Predator. The one dude with the sunglasses can see through and shoot through walls. Holy cow, man. What were your thoughts on what was shown off today?
Man, so I was at work like probably most people were as this was going on, mad as heck. And I was like, I should have took the day off, but unfortunately I couldn't. But man, what I saw first, the thing that caught out to me is how clean it looks. Man, it looks, I mean, people were saying that the game, it's like, man, we want to see this, we want to see that. And I'm like, man, it's Gears of War. It's going to look like Gears of War, and it looks cleaner. It looks a lot more photorealistic to like what the Gears world is, and it speaks. But when I started seeing like the abilities and stuff like that, I was like, oh yeah, this is where they're talking about taking Gears to like another level that they never took it to before, having these class abilities and stuff. I was really, really floored when I started seeing airstrikes and stuff in it. I was like, oh man, this Horde mode look, it's gonna be crazy. And then when I saw the single player, and some people still complaining because they said, well, we didn't see actual story, we just saw like cutscenes from the story missions and certain parts of it. I'm like, man, at this point, dude, they finally show you something. They didn't show you anything before. Now we finally got a glimpse of what it looks like, and we got a little bit of how the story with Kate's going to unfold. And I was super excited. Like, I am not the hugest Gears fan. I played the single player more than anything. But looking at that gameplay, looking at the reveal in general and the way they wrote it out, it really did get me excited to try this game and play it and enjoy it when it does launch on September 6th for all of us beautiful people that own Game Pass Ultimate. You know, if you got Ultimate, you get 4 days early, and that's all right with me. But they just validated to me why why they actually purchased Gears of War those years ago.
Yes.
They put the time in. Rob Ferguson, everybody wanted to sit there and say, well, he's not showing us this, he's not showing us that. They were waiting to blow it out, and this is what they did. And unfortunately for a lot of people, this still isn't going to be enough for them, because they're going to be like, well, and didn't have that. I love the fact that it had the Halo character packs in it. Because at first all they talked about was the Terminator stuff.
We're gonna get.
They got me all hook, line, and sinker, because two of my favorite characters was in that. So I'm super excited to see that.
Let's talk about that for a second. See, because Gears 5 in itself, but when you look at the game as a whole, right? You talk about it's a AAA game, right?
Yep.
It's top of the line graphics. It's going to run at 4K and 60 frames per second on the X. The whole game. Okay?
Yep.
So you can only imagine what the game is going to look like and run for most of us who have an X, right? Mm-hmm. Then you put all of what we saw. You got Horde, you got multiplayer, you have all of these different modes, you have the single player. And then somehow or another they make a deal with Terminator. Not only are you getting the T-1000, if that's what it looks like, or maybe it's the new one, and you're getting Sarah Connor, which they're going to have their own ultimates, I would imagine, because that's exactly what Tempest was saying. But then you drop two of the biggest and best characters from Halo Reach into it, and the bubble shield makes an appearance. Like,
yes.
How does... Listen, folks. I run 3 shows a week, and I'm 48 years old, and I just want you to know that just saying the word bubble shield and Gears of War just gave me goosebumps from the tip of my toes to the top of my effing head. So now, before I get to you guys, I have to thank a couple of people. First of all, Elemental P with the outstanding $5 super chat. He says, "Good evening. Is there any reason Sony fans would want Gears to fail? It's the game all gamers need right now." That's a great point, and it's a shame that there's actually a community or part of a community that want to see a game fail because it's on a different piece of plastic. And I gotta be honest, like I said, I'm not gonna really go deep into it, but that's really sad. I mean, I'm not sure if anybody in the chat or on the panel remember, but just a couple of days ago, Rod Ferguson was congratulated by two big Sony studio heads. Neil Druckmann was like, "Hey, I can't wait to play Gears," and Barlog from God of War was like, "Hey, congratulations on going gold. We're so excited to play the game." Folks, I understand that the console war, it might be like your life and it means something, but wishing something to fail because it's not on your piece of plastic, listen, man, I'm not going to tell you people live their life.
Remember when Phil Spencer came out and tweeted congratulations, and Xbox community congratulations about launching Gears of War, not Gears of War, God of War. And said it's an amazing game and I can't wait to play it. And everybody keeps saying, man, Microsoft needs to worry about their own games. You don't see Sony execs coming out tweeting about, hey, congratulations bringing out that game. Microsoft does that all the time and they say Sony doesn't. Well, you just saw Sony literally reach out to them and say, dude, I can't wait to play this game.
And nobody said a word.
Nobody said a word about it.
Listen, real quick, I'm going to get you guys' opinion, but Italian Clowns with the outstanding $5 super chat. We have Smuzz 246 with the outstanding and very generous $5 super chat. He says, "Great show, Boom. So excited for Gears." Yes, you and me both. And last but not least, Nightwolf 3186 with the outstanding and, of course, very generous $5 super chat. He says, "Good to hear Mr. Boom again. Just finished rewatching the Gears campaign trailer. I want you to know I watched it 5 times like a big old nerd, and I don't care. In glorious 4K with the awesome song hyped me up to no end." Yeah, dude, listen, there's a lot to be excited about. So listen, you know what? G-Man 1172 has joined us. He is muted right now, so we're going to get to him in a second. But I want to go to Tempestsun. What were your thoughts when you saw the two characters from frickin' Halo Reach?
Oh God, dude! You know what it told me? The possibilities are endless. We have Terminator characters, Halo characters. When you're playing Horde mode that's not tied to the story, or versus mode that's not tied to the story, you know what this reminds me of? Guest characters in a fighting game.
Yes,
it's one of the most exciting things in fighting games. So at this point, who the heck else could they add? I mean, honestly, who knows? If these characters are popular enough and they want more of it, who's to say they wouldn't add a Master Chief or an Arbiter or something like that to the game? So, dude, it looked awesome. I mean, just the fact that, the surgence a few years ago of hero shooters and things like Overwatch, the fact that every character has its own ultimate, it also means that these skins you get, so if you put the work in and you earn one of these skins, you're getting a nice juicy freaking ultimate with it. So gosh, I can't say enough good things about what I saw. Oh, and this is kind of back to the previous, but Forte, when he was talking about it, it just reminded me how clean it looked when you saw the trailer.
Yes.
You're sitting there watching these trailers and they're showing is 30 frames per second, right? Well, when you get to that story trailer, you can just instantly see how smooth that 60 frames a second is. And the fact that we're going to be getting that in the campaign is just, I can't believe they're going to make it happen, honestly.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible that listen, obviously if you have an S, it's probably going to run in 30 frames, which of course, it's going to look good. There's no doubt about it. But it really makes you smile if you invested in an Xbox One X. Now, before we get into that, Forte, I have to get your opinion on this because you just said something prior that I want you to reiterate. Your two favorite characters from Halo Reach are now in Gears 5. What does that say for you as a fan? There's something that we all grew up looking at, and it's something that Nintendo does very well. It's called fan service. When you look at Smash Brothers in retrospect of it all, should not exist. At least on the level that it exists today. And what do I mean by that? I mean that the game is built as a wacky fighter that became so big they needed to expand the roster past the original 12 characters. And when you talk about fan service, that game screams fan service. What we saw today with the 2 Halo characters, and I agree with Tempest, this isn't going to be the stop. This is going to be something they're going to continue to add because it doesn't have any correlation to the story. They can go crazy. What were your thoughts, dude?
Man, everybody knows Halo's my favorite franchise, and Reach means so much to me because I read the book. I mean, I read the book way before Reach, way before the game came out. And when I knew that they were going back to tell that story from a perspective without Master Chief, super excited. And to see Kat and see Emil on in the game, I was like, I was floored. I was like, first of all, Kat, she died so abruptly in that game. I felt like I lost a friend when it happened. I couldn't believe it.
You couldn't say goodbye.
I didn't get a chance to say goodbye. It was real heart-ripping. And then Emil, at the very end of the game, when you were defending the turret and he went down protecting you, it was like those two characters I remember the most from that campaign. And the other ones were really good too. George was great. Carter was great. I loved everything about that game. But seeing them, and then, man, Halo 3, that trailer when they first showed the bubble shield, still gives me goosebumps every time I think about that trailer with Master Chief. And to see it in a Gears game, I was like, okay, I wasn't expecting this. And you gave me something. That's all I want Microsoft to do. Give me something that is unexpected. Give me something that you actually believe that people are going to support. And when I see something like Gears of War and Halo, your 2 biggest IPs, I wonder why this never happened before when it came to the to especially the Horde mode, because you're not bound by any rules or regulations when it comes to the Horde mode. It can be anything you want it to be. And Tempest is absolutely right. This is just the beginning. You think Mortal Kombat can do the things they do and no one else can do it. I mean, guest characters are some of the best characters you get in games, and they've really changed up the variety of the gameplay. And I really enjoyed it. I was super excited when I saw it, and man, I just can't wait to. I think that might be the only characters I play with, honestly. Now that I've seen it.
Hey, well, consider this: their own game. They've proven they're cool with the mashups, man. Think of Killer Instinct. The entire 3rd season, they had They had Rash, Ram, and Arbiter in their game.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, so that's for sure.
Well, that's what I'm saying. How you doing, folks?
Listen, it is G-Man 1172 sliding in to save the day. Obviously, we had a few people call out the last minute. G-Man, listen, we're not going to move on in this topic until we get your opinion on it. You have been, and of course, Cybernox is here, who wasn't sure if he's going to be a Cybernox. Welcome, dude. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
Good to see you.
So, G-Man, I want to get your opinion on this because a lot of people, were basically saying that Gears was going to fail. We didn't see the single-player campaign, which we haven't talked about. We're going to get to in a second. But I said in the beginning, in the opening, what Rod Ferguson and what Microsoft did with ending Inside Xbox with Horde, showing the 2 Halo characters in Gears, as well as the new Terminator and Sarah Connor, which is ridiculous. And they started Jeff Keighley's event with Rod Ferguson and the single player campaign. When you saw Horde running the way it ran with the giant creatures and the now ultimates that they have, but they're like supers in a fighting game. What were your takeaways from it, dude?
Okay, I could just say this. These are my takeaways. Number one, I post a lot on a forum for the last 13 years that has a lot to do with console wars, but I kind of pulled back from that whole console war nonsense because I have no stake in it. Nobody's sending me a check. I own every console, so who cares? You know what I mean? But the one thing I hated is when people were on this particular forum were saying, and I see it on Twitter too, and I've heard it on a couple of podcasts that I listen to. Gears needs to evolve. Gears needs to change. Gears, okay, but why was Uncharted 4 and Uncharted Lost Legacy the same Uncharted? The only thing different is the setting, the dialogue, the story. It's still the same gameplay. Why is Gears treated differently? Why must Gears evolve? Why can't Gears be Gears and we just get a new story? You know what I mean? And so that was my big thing. Now, I never understood, even after E3, oh, we didn't get any single-player campaign footage. Why didn't we get campaign? Dude, it's going to be Gears. I promise you, it's going to be Gears. If you didn't like it before, seeing campaign footage is not going to make you like it now, okay? If you like Gears, you're going to like it. I like Gears, and I like Uncharted. I play them both. I have, you know what I mean? I don't pick and choose. I just enjoy games. When I saw that Horde footage, I'm telling you, dude, I was just like, my God, because I'm a big Horde player. My competitive days are over, dude. I like my Twitch reflexes are awful. You know what I mean? Dude, I can't compete anymore, Boom. I can't. My days of competition ended with Halo 3. I can't do it anymore. You know what I mean? I shouldn't say Halo 3. I played Crysis 2 multiplayer. I may have been one of only 10 people that did, but I fucking dominated at it. You know what I mean? My thing is this, dude. That footage of Horde blew me away. It really blew me away. I love the powers, or I don't know about powers, but attributes to each character.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They're considered supers or ultimates. Yeah, they're amazing.
Thank you. I didn't know the word. Supers or ultimates. I worked all day, so I'm just catching up, like picking up things. You know what I mean? I'm picking up things just like, you know, I was tuning into Xbox 448's coverage on my phone while I'm working. I'm just like, what's going on, you know? Mm-hmm. And I loved what I saw. I'm like, how could you say this game's not evolving? It is evolving. It's always trying to add new stuff to keep people playing. Because guess what? I'm not going to keep playing the campaign. I can't do that. I can't do that with any game. Actually, I shouldn't say that. The only game I can keep playing the campaign at least once every 2 years is Half-Life or Half-Life 2. Because I think they're just pinnacle marks in gaming. They just are. You know what I mean? But, I mean, what keeps me playing Gears is the Horde mode at this point. Right. You know what I mean? I love jumping in with friends. I love taking on Horde on different different difficulty levels. I love playing Halo Firefight on different difficulty levels. You know what I mean? And then when I saw Reach character, I was like, "What? I'm gonna play as a mule or cat? What?" What?
Yeah,
I just like it was amazing.
It was a bit of a I guess you can call it a shakeup because no one expected it. This was something that was kept secret, and you know, listen. All I can say is this. You know, I'm waiting for Cybernox to come back in because I know he jumped in for a second and jumped out, and I'm kind of just gonna talk for a hot second. Oh, first of all, I have to thank Gotham Guy in the chat for the outstanding and very generous $10 super chat. He says, "Hi guys, enjoyed my day off watching Gamescom opening night. The Blair Witch got me excited as well as everything Gears. So it's nice to see Gears get some positive talk around the gaming community." Yeah, absolutely, dude. It's a long time coming for the Gears franchise.
Well said, Boom. Well said.
I mean,
Boom.
it's you know, more so than just that. I think it's a long time coming for the Xbox faithful. Because you know,
for someone like, I'm sorry to cut you off. I'm sorry. I'm just like chomping at the bit here. For someone like Jeff Keighley to even say, "Hey, man, this looks great." Like, hey, you know, put aside the fanboy wars. That looked phenomenal. It looked good.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you know, it's you know, when Neil Druckmann of The Last of Us 2 fame and Cory Balrog reach out publicly to Rod Ferguson via Twitter and say, "Congratulations on going gold. We're really excited to play this game." That's telling you something. That's telling you got something, you know, you have something special. And you know what? At the end of the day, well, the guys and gals, you know, within our, you know, bubble that we call social media, believe it or not, these guys are friends, man. You know, they hang out with their families.
You guys hear me all right?
Yes, we hear you now, Cybernox.
Hey, sorry
Get
about
in there,
that. Sorry
Cyber.
being
Get
late.
in there,
Hey,
Cyber.
what's up, everybody?
Well, listen.
up, panel?
Before I get to you, Cybernox, because I want to get your opinion. We're still talking about the Horde mode and the gears. What they showed off with the Horde mode. We haven't gotten to the single player campaign, but I want to get your opinion on the Halo Reach characters. But before I do, failed Pyromancer with the outstanding $5 super chat. He says Gears 5 did exactly what it needed to do. It looks like a current gen title that showcases the power of the consoles. Gears made me a fan again. And well, listen, you know what, dude? That's really awesome of you to say, and I'm glad that you feel that way, because you know what? A lot of people were on the fence, but Cybernox, I know that you're chomping at the bit to get in to talk about this. Horde mode is one of those modes that shouldn't be there, but is there. And if you have yourself and 4 other gamers that enjoy, each other's company and enjoys Gears, if you can sit down there for 3 hours and get to that level 50 and somehow beat it, it is the greatest feeling in the entire world. What were your takeaways from what they showed off at today's Gamescom, dude?
And all I'm gotta say is, what a difference a day makes. Am I right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
After you seeing this Gears, like, it just got me like hyped up. To be honest, I've been a casual Horde mode player that love Horde mode. It looked phenomenal in my opinion, and it got me extremely hyped. The characters, the enemies, and then kind of like to allude to what you said earlier, and then that ending showing 2 Halo characters, I was just like, this is exactly what they needed to do. Start incorporating like all your characters together, especially on Horde mode that has nothing to do with the story. It's all about your survival, and have fun with it. Why not? I thought it was brilliant. It looks amazing though. The whole game looks amazing.
Yeah, it's again, it's a multiplayer mode that's a team-based online game that a lot of people really dig, and obviously it made its debut like they discussed in Halo 2, and it's been a whirlwind ever since. And the fact that guest characters have been like one of the biggest things, regardless of whether you like Mortal Kombat or not. I happen to love the series. I've been a fan since the Genesis and NES days when there was green blood instead of red. So I've been playing it for a long time. And one of the claim to fames with what they do over at NetherRealm is bringing amazing and unbelievable guest characters that really have no business being there. I mean, did you ever think in your wildest dreams 5 years ago that you were going to play Predator versus Sub-Zero? Right. It's you would never think about it. So now we see for Gears 5 Horde mode, which is completely, removed from the story. Right? It's its own entity. It's a fun mode. We got the new Terminator. We got Sarah Connor. We now have 2 characters from Halo Reach, and I believe it was Tempest that said it. It's the sky is the limit at this point. Like, I think that it's going to become a regular thing where characters from other games, Microsoft first-party games, could eventually find their way in here. Which is unbelievable to think about. The possibility of I know this again. This is a stretch, folks. This is a stretch. But they do have a lot of IPs, and even though you're not going to get Banjo in there, you could get Joanna Dark. That's correct. Yeah, I mean, you could get a Sam Fisher in there. You never know. Yep. I mean, that sounds ridiculous, but the 2 characters from Halo Reach that are dead are in Horde. So
better yet, Sarah Connor from a movie franchise.
There you go. Even more ridiculous. But listen. As great as Horde was, as great as it looked, as great as the surprise Halo Reach characters, we have to move this podcast over to the effing epic part of what everyone in this chat, everyone on the internet, everyone on Twitter, everyone on this panel wanted, pleaded, and begged to see, and that was a single-player campaign. It was just under 2 minutes, and I'm going to tell you this right now. It blew my mind. My expectations of what I expected were completely trampled over. So I want to go to Tempestsun first on this. I'll give my opinion on it last. When you finally got a chance to see a 2-minute trailer, and they showed in-game graphics, which that's what the game is going to look like while you're playing it, because it's going to run in 4K 60. What were your takeaways from what they showed?
Oh, dude, it's not just because of the frame rate and the better graphics, but it's a bigger cast of characters now. You still have the old and the new in this one. And one thing Gears always did was it gave you that sense of dread, like overwhelming odds, we're all going to die. And somehow, most of the time, they all get out of it. But it's that suspense that the campaign builds up throughout certain key moments. And it looks like you just got a lot of set pieces. You know, it's whereas the 2018 E3 trailer, you got a lot of, I don't even want to say quieter moments, but there was like that walk down the corridor with the big dude that got up and them getting repelled down into a chasm. I'm thinking because the third player is going to be the bot, you know, there's going to be a lot of quieter moments.
Yeah.
Jack, a lot more exploration, if you will, a lot of more open, quiet moments. But what this trailer did, you're going to get that good old fashioned, you know, Gears, how the heck we're going to survive this, you know, type of moments. One thing I noticed is I think it was JD on the ground, something they've never done in other Gears. JD was on the ground looking like he was fighting for his life, shooting a pistol while he was laying on the ground. You know, just little things like that they can put into these games to make it more cinematic, you know. And takeaways, I honestly think it's going to be the best Gears yet. I think Rod knows it. I think the team knows it. And I think he's just, at this point, I think he wanted to toy with us, not show us campaign. So when we finally got it, we're going to be like, where the heck did this come from? You know, but now that we got to see it, I couldn't be happier with it, honestly. Like as a Gears fan, dude, this is, and then the music. Head Like a Hole, like for real.
Oh my god,
that was so cool, man.
That was very unexpected because a lot of the Gears games have like a slower opera kind of a, you know what I'm saying, kind of a feel. Yeah. This was a really cool song that I remember growing up in the '90s listening to. So that was really, really well done. Nautical Gaming. I want to go to you next, dude. Forte. This is the trailer that I think if people who may not have an Xbox One, right, would see this trailer and be like, whoa, just a second now. This is what they're talking about? This looks bananas. Now, whether you play it on PC, whether you play it on the Xbox One X, it's not going to matter. It's going to. The fact of the matter is, I think what they showed today could not only turn heads but change opinions. Do you agree with that?
This is what I think it mostly did. It made people that probably didn't play Gears of War 4 want to go play Gears of War 4 because it's like, okay, how did we get to this point? Like, what is all this stuff that's going on? The one thing I love the most about it, they go back, it's like they, just from the parts of the trailer they showed, it looks like they're going back to like that atmospheric, like kind of spooky stuff that was in the first one, like going through, like I was like, okay, I'm starting to get feels from like how the first one was, where it was like not scary, but it kind of spooked you out in certain areas you were in and stuff like that, and you're basically just diving deep into what's going on with Kate and her psyche and everything. Man, the more and more I looked at it, the more and more I was just like, this is all I need to see. I don't need to see an actual game and show like, oh, to see this person talk to that person. Just show me exactly what we're going to be doing. What's the things we're going to be going up against? What's the narrative going to feel like in the game? Because I'm more about how is it going to feel versus how it's going to look. And they nailed both those for me. Like the cinematics, like the on rail stuff was like, oh man, being chased by things on the back of a train or truck. It was.
Mm-hmm. I was back of a pickup truck.
Yeah, look, and you're being chased by this giant world-eating thing, and I'm like, okay, I get you, Rod Ferguson. I see what you out here doing, but for me, I just feel like it kind of validates what people kept saying about it's going to be Gears of War. You know, Gears of War hasn't changed the way it looks and feels forever. You know, do you want more of that, or do you want them to tinker with the formula? Of course, they're going to add little things like they did with the Horde mode, which I'm 100% for. But just the graphical fidelity, and like I said, this is a trailer, so we haven't actually seen a game. But if this isn't indicative to what we're going to get a chance to play, and literally just over 2 weeks. People don't realize that literally just over 2 weeks away, this game will be here. I think it kind of answers a lot of the questions that other people are going to have about it. And if you haven't played Gears 4, this gives you a really good reason to go play it. It's in Game Pass. Go try it out right now. Beat the game. Get ready for this one, because I'm super excited. And it, like I said, it just looks so clean, man. I'm all about presentation in the game, and it looked phenomenal. And it got me excited. I haven't been this excited for a Gears game in a long time.
Yeah.
Can I say something? Can I say something?
Sure, please, by all means, jump in, dude.
We're bringing all this stuff that they just showed us, but at the base level of how you feel about a game, if anybody's played the tech test, the multiplayer tech test, the game just plays better.
It plays well.
Yeah, it plays real well. And it's fast. It's super fast.
Yeah.
Oh
plays
my God,
phenomenal.
it's such a difference.
Yeah, G-Man, let me jump in and grab your ear for a second. You know, we talked Horde, right? We talked guest characters. Now we're talking campaign. And this was what was a hang-up for many people. A lot of people were disappointed. I'm not going to sit in line and say I wasn't one of them, but there were some people which will on these shows remain nameless, because we don't do that on this show. But if you listen to many podcasts, you know who you're talking about. There were people, gamers, that were like, "Oh, Gears is gonna suck." They didn't show this. They didn't show the single player campaign. What were your takeaways from the 2-minute trailer?
Well, I mean, exactly. I mean, there's no reason to go into names, because I'll be honest with you. Look, I try to be as transparent as possible. All right, folks. I've lied. I've been violent. I've done terrible things in my life. Okay, I'm as human as the next person. I've fanboyed. I've done everything. Okay, that's the bottom line. What I'm saying is, to think that because you didn't see Gears' campaign footage in June, oh my God, Gears is gonna stink now. That was, are you serious? Really? Come on. Like, really? At this point? Really? I just, to me, it was just wanting to basically create drama. That, and I understand creating drama and getting clicks is a thing in internet culture. You know what I mean? I mean, how else do you get clicks? You got to get people to be interested in the drama. You have to. Or you can produce quality content where people want to actually listen to intelligent people try and talk. Maybe I'm not the intelligent guy on the show tonight, but you know what I mean? My point is, you usually just create good content. Boom.
Thank you.
My thing is this, dude. That trailer, I wasn't blown away by the trailer. I'm again, like I said, I'm trying to be transparent, because I even put it up on Twitter, right after the trailer played. I put it up. I was just like, is everybody happy now? There's the campaign footage that you were all waiting for. It's still Gears. It's still just Gears.
Yeah.
Just like Uncharted 4 was still just Uncharted. Like, Uncharted 4 didn't suddenly become an RTS. You know what I mean? Gears is still what Gears is.
Yeah.
That's what. Why should the core gameplay of either of those great games change? I love Uncharted and I love Gears. So guess what? When I see them be what they are, I'm excited. It's just like, okay, now I got more story. I got a little backstory on the characters. I'm excited about this stuff. This stuff makes me want to play it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
the multiple modes make me want to dive into more of it. You know what I mean? I don't understand why one of them gets the benefit of the doubt just by Nathan Drake waking up in a puddle, and standing up and walking into a bunch of woods like that first reveal of Uncharted 4 was. They were, oh my God, it looks amazing. Oh my God. But if you don't see Gears campaign footage in June, it's, oh my God, it's going to stink. Like,
well,
there is a double standard. Come on, Boom.
For sure.
There's a double standard.
Yeah,
there is. Since 2013, it is just the en vogue thing to hate anything related to Xbox. It just is. And people are herd mentality. They are. Most people do not stand on their own 2 feet. Everybody claims they do, but they don't. They don't stand on their own 2 feet. They don't stand by their own convictions. They fall in line with the popular mentality. And my thing is, the popular mentality is Xbox caca, PlayStation God. You know what I mean?
Well,
That's
listen,
guys. That is.
We're not here to change cultures, dude. We're just talking about Gears. You know what I'm saying? And it's
and you know what, Boom? Gears looked great today. It did. And as the show goes on, we'll talk about the things that look great outside of Gears for other platforms.
Yes, well,
because I'm not afraid of talking about that.
Yeah, no, we're definitely going to get to that in a second. And last but certainly not least, Cybernox. I want to
talk to me nice, Boom. Talk to me nice.
I want to just tug on your ear for a second and whisper sweet nothings, because the Gears campaign, I think, should have, and I said this on Twitter, if you walked away unimpressed with it, then there's two things: either you're lying, or you're a fraud, or you're both. I don't think anyone that has eyeballs that actually watched the same trailer that I think everybody in this panel and everybody in 115 people on a new show, thank you so much for showing up, watched and be like, you know what? That's just not tickling my pickle, so I don't think it was that big of a deal. What were your takeaways from the trailer that we've all been asking for?
This trailer to me was off the hook.
Yeah,
this thing got me so hyped up. I was blown away by it. I could not believe it. I was waiting for the trailer, and as soon as how the trailer began, with just you saw Cat there just in the beginning, you can see the level, like the resolution, the graphics. I was like, oh my god, this thing is gonna be epic. And then as the trailer went on, and you saw how many layers and how big of just the scale that this game seems that it's going to be, it blew me away. It just brought me back to Gears, and I said, yes, it looks like it's going to be extremely story driven.
Yes.
Okay. It looks like we're actually going to, I don't want to say I didn't care about the stories before, but to me, every time I played a Gears game, I was just there as another shooter. And I've always wanted to be like, oh, what about there was a little bit more, you know?
Right. Well, I'm going to say this. The world, like you were alluding to, looks so much larger.
You see how many different environments
Yes.
they went everywhere. Not only that, I can kind of see why Rod Ferguson didn't want to reveal too much, because they showed a lot.
They did. And in that 2-minute trailer, they did show. I got news for you. You know, I want to just, because obviously we're already an hour into the show, or maybe a little bit less because we started a little bit later. But I saw someone post on Twitter, and I want to get everyone's take on this. When Kate went into that, when she got like strapped into that table, and she went into, I don't know whether it was a dream sequence or whatever it was that she was in. Did anyone else get the vibe that in that tank was General Ram?
Ooh.
Oh.
You know,
because if you look, someone did an up close and personal shot of his face. The creature in there.
I have not looked into that yet.
Dude,
I have not. Are you serious, Boom?
Thought provoking. What I will do is, after the show is done, I will find the tweet. I favored it. They superimposed. I don't know who brought it up. They brought I don't know how they did it, but they did it, and they brought the picture right up to the face where you saw the eyeballs and the mouth of it. Yeah. I gotta be honest with you, it kind of looks like General Ram.
That'd be crazy, dude.
Oh, well,
General Ram, the zombie version. This would be incredible.
Yeah, it certainly would. It would. But listen, you know what?
I alluded to earlier too. It makes you want to play the past Gears so you can catch up on the story.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna run through them all. Like I've already played through 4. I'm gonna go back and play through 3.
They're all enhanced, man.
Yeah,
we need to go to do it. We need to do it together.
Yes, that sounds dope.
Yo, let's team up,
trailer
guys.
looks amazing.
Let's do it, guys.
Well, listen. Again, this has been
amazing.
Yeah, you want to finish, Gad, brother?
No, go ahead. I was just saying that trailer looked amazing. It just got me that much more hyped for Gears. And if you think about the longevity that this game is going to have, not just because of the campaign,
right?
We haven't even seen Escape yet. You know what I mean? We have Horde, we have multiplayer, we have the campaign. This game is giving you so much that it's going to be insane. I called it before. It's gonna rate highly on Metacritic.
I think listen, look, when a game comes out and does what this game has shown us so far, there is no doubt that the game shouldn't be sitting at a 97 Metacritic. And I understand that Metacritic is shit. It really is. It's used in the console war nonsense. You understand what I'm saying? That's all it's there for. But what we have seen, in leading up to what we got today, you have to walk away and be like, you know what? I got to be honest with you. I'm not the biggest Xbox fan, but that looks like a winner. Even if you're a PlayStation-only guy or gal, you got to tip the hat. Now, are people going to do that? Well, some probably are. And there's going to be a lot of people that be like, nope, it still sucks. It's Gears. Okay, well, you know what? We can't change the world. I've come to realize that. But I know that come September 6th, I'm going to be playing that. And what's more exciting is most of us are going to be playing it on September 9th, when the show officially launches, we are going to basically make that a Gears episode. So it's gonna be an hour, an hour and a half to 2 hours of complete calm. That I actually feel that I would be a real terrible host if I didn't bring it up. And that was the announcement that Insomniac Games has now officially become a first-party developer for the PlayStation brand. And let me just say this, okay? This, depending on who you listen to, some people are like, this is the dagger in the heart that killed Microsoft. The thing is this: no, it's actually not. We have to look at it logically, folks. First of all, I love Insomniac. I love their leader. I really appreciated and respected that they wanted to be independent. But I also understand that they are a talented team that just put out Spider-Man. Now, if Spider-Man may not be your thing, and I hear you, but it's Boom's thing. And I spent 50, 60, maybe 70 hours, and I'm a few trophies away from platinuming it. I love that game. So I can only imagine what Spider-Man 2 is going to look like by Insomniac Games. But with that said, we also have to look at the logical part of this whole conversation that people just seem to forget about. Insomniac Games only made one exclusive for Microsoft in 2014. Now, I loved Sunset Overdrive. In fact, a lot of people loved Sunset Overdrive. I think this is a monster move. What do you think, Tempest?
Yeah, I mean, it is monster, just because of pretty much, Spider-Man alone, Insomniac got a name for themselves, and now that name's going to be nowhere else other than Sony, at least for now. Sony in the background could be doing what Microsoft's doing. We might be playing Insomniac games on PC soon. Who knows? And if that happens, you don't crap on Sony for that. That's good for everybody. The more people get to play it, the better. But it's a big move for Sony to do this. As far as the actual acquisition, you are right. Sunset Overdrive was honestly one of my favorite games this generation and on since it came out. But when I beat it, it really is only like a 20-hour something game, but it was so fun, honest to goodness. And this isn't because one's an Xbox exclusive and one's a PS4 exclusive. Honest to goodness, I think I actually had more fun on Sunset Overdrive. Actually, I know I had more fun on Sunset than I did Spider-Man. But Spider-Man's a great game. I ain't gonna take anything away from it. But now it's a huge deal. I almost when you think of Insomniac, they've made so many different kinds of games.
Yeah, they're an amazing studio.
But the fact that they have made so much, I kind of hope this isn't, oh, Spider-Man was a hit, let's turn Insomniac, which makes all different kinds of games, into a Spider-Man only studio.
So you don't, but you're saying, so basically you're hoping that they don't get pigeonholed into just being the Spider-Man, the Spider-Man company.
Yeah, exactly. Now, you could use your argument, well, 343 is just Halo and Coalition's just Gears. The difference is those studios were designed or put together to build a set series. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so that's a great point, man.
Insomniac is just like, oh, we had a great hit in our hands, and let's say they wanted to make something else to express their creative freedoms. I'm not saying they're only going to ever play Spider-Man, but I kind of bet you their next game there's going to be Spider-Man 2. And
oh no, there's no they're probably in pre-production. There's no doubt about it. But I have heard through the grapevine, and I think most of us have as well, is that they're working on a reboot of Ratchet and Clank 2, the same way they did the first one. Now, again, I say this all the time, and I said this on Twitter the other day. I'm sorry, I said it today. Ratchet and Clank, the one for the PlayStation 4, is a modern-day masterpiece. If you have not played that game, my God, find $20 in your couch and go buy that game, because that's probably what it costs about now. And it is Pixar level
Yeah, it looks
graphics.
like a movie.
It is unbelievably great. And if they decide to make a second one and Spider-Man, well, I mean, this is a big move. You know, Forte, I want to get your opinion on this, because this one really kind of shocked me, but not in a way where I was disappointed. I actually had someone on Twitter tell me, well, no, it's okay, Boom, to be disappointed. I'm like, well, that's the thing. I'm actually not disappointed, because when I hear this, what this does for me as a gamer, folks, remember this. I'm a gamer, sure. I love my Xbox, and I play mostly on the Xbox for the third party. But I have a PlayStation 4 Pro, and if I've owned every game this generation that's a first-party game, outside of some of the second-party ones, I own them all. In fact, I've purchased and done unboxing videos for every collector's edition that they've ever had. So I'm a huge fan. So what this says to me, as a fan of gaming, is that Insomniac Games is never going anywhere. You're never going to see them, well, we got to shut the doors because we ran out of money. They are locked into the Sony brand, and guess what? For them to accept it, understand that Price, the CEO, probably was offered a shit boat of money, and good on them for taking it, and good on Sony for seeing the talent that put out an amazing game in Spider-Man to have them as their first party. Forte, what were your takeaways? Were you as shocked as most people on the internet?
When it happened, I was like, okay, interesting. I said, basically they moved their chips to the table, said, we'll see your 9 studios and we raise you one big one. And the one big one is because Spider-Man just recently went over like 20 million copies sold, and I can't be more proud of that studio, from where they came from making Spyro the Dragon to all the Ratchet and Clank games, even the Resistance games, which I love.
Oh, loved them.
It's like it's like a very, very talented studio. Like I said, even when they decided to go away and really go full third party and make games, they tried to do things that other people thought they couldn't do. They tried to do Fuse. It didn't work out for them, but that was a chance that they was willing to take. They did a chance with Sunset Overdrive, bringing it over to the Xbox, and guess what? It was a great game. I just think Xbox didn't support the game like I felt like it should have been supported.
You're 100% correct. That is a fail on Microsoft. Yes.
Yeah, it is a fail, because I feel if that game would have had more of it would have resonated more with the Xbox fan base, we could be talking, it could have been a Sunset 2 by now. I mean, it's been long enough at this point. And they just went back to what they were really good at. They went back and did Ratchet and Clank, like you said, which was a modern day masterpiece. I agree with that. It is, I mean, look, man, Sony has all the eggs in the basket when it comes to Spider-Man. And I just felt like I didn't know how the game was going to turn out until we seen it. And being a person that got a chance to play some of it, it was amazing. I just think that this is a studio that deserves the accolades that they get, and I'm more proud of the fact that now they just have a steady check that's coming to them all the time, meaning they're going to have a way to bring even more better content, better games, bigger games, because now they have someone like Sony flipping the bill, and Sony still holds true to that whole mantra: we let our developers make what they want to make. And you know, Microsoft is heading in that direction. But Sony has been proven on that, and Spider-Man is letting them make the Spider-Man the way that it was made, letting God of War be made a completely different way than it was made from before. It lets you know that the proof's in the pudding, and this is just a great acquisition. And I'm just happy for Ted Price and them, man, because they knocked it out the park, and people that do this well should be rewarded, and they were rewarded with a a fat check and more money to come from other games that they make.
No, absolutely. G-Man, before I get to you, brother, I got to thank Elemental P for the outstanding additional and extremely generous $5 super chat. He says, I hope Insomniac's not making Ratchet games forever either. They have had trouble making original games. You know, I agree with you, because obviously we talked about Forte mentioned the original game that they made and it failed. And you know what? Listen, that's development, man. Not every game is going to be a home run, but I am going to say this. They have Ratchet and Clank, which is an amazing franchise. If they make 2 the same way they made 1, it's going to be a great success. I don't necessarily know, is it going to be another $40 title, which I still can't believe that game launched for $40, because I would have gladly paid the $65.01 in New York with the New York tax to play that game. That's how amazing it was. And now you have Spider-Man 2, which is probably in pre-production. The MCU is hot. And you know what? I agree with you 100%. Ted Price, he's one of my favorite industry leaders, because he's always been very truthful. He's always been very transparent. If you ever listen to the man talk in an interview, I can listen to him talk for 6 hours. He's so intelligent, and he's so articulative of the way he speaks about gaming and the way he runs his company. I couldn't be more excited and happy. G-Man, when you saw this acquisition, were you as excited as most of us, or were you surprised?
I got to be honest, I wasn't surprised. I saw, I was actually, look, I don't, whatever. You know, there's no point in even mentioning that. But I threw it up there as soon as I heard it, and I noticed on Twitter, in our community, not many people had put it on Twitter yet. You know, I didn't, put a picture up. I just said, look, Sony acquired Insomniac. I kind of smelled it coming. I did. You know what I mean? They stopped answering questions about a Sunset Overdrive 2 a long time ago. They did. They just stopped answering the question. And why would you stop answering the question? Obviously, because something's in the works. Sony did not buy Insomniac today. Sony announced it today.
Right. This is probably last year. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That deal happened. It happened. See, that's the thing a lot of people don't realize about big business. This happened already. It happened. They just announced it today. And Sony is great at that. Anytime Microsoft does anything, Sony steps in. Hats off to Ash and Luca. She actually put something up on Twitter. They do. They're masters at it. They just, okay, Gears 5? Guess what? We just bought Insomniac. They're great at it. Sony.
They're the masters of marketing. There's no doubt.
They're the masters of marketing, and then the masters of basically slide tackling you. So they are. They slide tackle you.
They kick your legs out from underneath you.
Seriously, you're just about to you're in the box and you think you're about to score a goal, and all of a sudden, to borrow a hockey parlance, somebody slew foots you and takes you right off your feet. You know what I mean? They are great at it. They are. And the thing is, people are, that's wrong. No, there's no
big
right
business,
or wrong.
Brother.
That's big business. Sorry, pal. Yeah. They're just good at it, and I don't take it personally because I have no stake in it. My thing is this. I think it's a great acquisition. It's a great acquisition for Insomniac because they did try. What was that game they made? That first-person shooter that they made. It was multi-plat. What was it called? What was it called again, Boom? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember what it was called. It bombed. Yeah, it was.
Somebody in the chat will say it. I mean, and it failed. It failed miserably last gen. You know what I mean? And then they wanted to make Sunset Overdrive, but they told Sony, no, we want to own this IP. And of course, Sony had it, like a rule. Anything you put, we own the IP. If you put it on our console, we own the IP. That's it. They were like, no. So Microsoft said, oh, yeah, you could put Sunset Overdrive on the Xbox One, and you can own the IP too. Because Microsoft is the devil and doesn't like developers for some reason. You know what I mean? No, I'm being facetious.
No, we know you are.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And the thing is, the sad thing is, Gamers supported that game.
Was it Mag? No, that was
It was Resistant, wasn't
No,
it?
not Meg.
Resistant?
No. It's what the hell was that thing?
it was a
somewhat an
team-based
F.
first-person shooter. Yeah.
Yeah, it's somewhat an F. I can't remember the name of it. You know what I mean?
You're talking about Fuse?
Fuse,
Fuse.
yes.
That was it. Fuse.
Good.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Okay,
You know
yeah.
what
I
That's
mean?
My point is this. I mean, Microsoft's like, look, you want to own the IP? Go ahead, knock yourself out. Just put it on our platform. You can throw it on PC, whatever. Whatever. Gamers did support it. People are like, nobody supported it. No, gamers did support it. What you got to understand, the population on any platform, the gamers are the smallest population. We are gamers, guys. We're gamers.
Right.
I consider myself a gamer. People are like, what, you think you're hardcore? I don't know if I'm hardcore. I know I'm a gamer because I own all 3 platforms. I buy games for all 3 platforms because you know what? This is my main entertainment. This is my entertainment. This is it. I like this most. So I'm a gamer. You know what I mean? Gamers did buy Sunset Overdrive, but the majority of any population on a platform are casuals. Casuals like Call of Duty, Madden, FIFA, and the occasional big market game like The Witcher 3 or Spider-Man, or you know what I mean?
Right.
That's what they like. You know what I mean? Big name stuff. Sunset Overdrive wasn't big name. And it's a shame because Sunset Overdrive had some of the most challenging gameplay of this generation. If you get on the street or get on a rooftop and stop moving, you're dead. You are dead. And that's how they designed the game. You're going to be overwhelmed. You're dead. The whole point of the game is you must keep moving and you must be able to fire and shoot and accurately hit your targets while you're moving. It's such a great gameplay mechanic. And I'm a big gameplay guy. Look, don't get me wrong. I like stories in games. I do. But I don't wet my pants. So, oh my God, but the email stuff, the feels get me going. I don't do that. I'm saying, look, I loved God of War. I love The Last of Us. I love stories in a game, but it is not my priority. My priority is, why am I going to keep the controller in my hand and keep pressing buttons? I must have gameplay as the priority. That is what gameplay mechanics is, what this medium is about. If you take gameplay away from these stories, you know what they are? They're just CGI movies. That's all they are. You must have gameplay, and they created great gameplay in Sunset Overdrive. They did it with Spider-Man, and Sony did a great job by wrapping this up.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's actually a great point. Cybernox, I just want to get your opinion on this because, when you look at how many times they were asked about Sunset Overdrive 2, Ted Price himself came out and basically turned the spotlight onto Phil Spencer. Says, well, we want to do it. It's in Microsoft's court, and they chose not to do it. So, listen. Do I think Sunset Overdrive 2 or Reboot to 1 is coming to the PlayStation 5? Probably not. Is there a chance? Abso-smurfly there is. But when you saw this, and we're going to talk about what I think is going to happen next for Sony, were you surprised, or were you kind of like, well, they're already making games for Sony, so this is really not a big, a big boom?
Just like I think everybody already mentioned a little bit of what I was going to say, but I wasn't that surprised because kind of what you mentioned, Boom. They only made one game for the Xbox, exclusively for the Xbox, and there was no way in hell that after the success of Spider-Man that Sony was going to let Insomniac, make a Spider-Man 2, let's say for as a multi-plat, let's say. It was just a smart move, especially with Microsoft picking up studios. I think Sony had to rebuttal with a big developer, and Insomniac is pretty big developer. They've put out great games. They're a great pickup. What I was gonna say too is I'll be interested to see what Tempestsun said earlier, and see if they're just gonna hold their hand a little bit in making just Spider-Man games and maybe Ratchet and Clank and going back and forth between those two games. And the marketing team for Sony, they're just geniuses. They know how to take the thunder right out of Microsoft.
They do.
Everybody's talking about Gears, this, and that, and Jeff Keighley up on stage goes and just does one little thing. Oh, hey, congratulations to Sony and Insomniac for being picked up by Sony. I was just like, oh wow.
Well, I mean, it's his show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
we know his. We know
yeah.
where his loyalties lie, and we're gonna get into what transpired with Death Stranding as soon as you're done with your point, because I got some stuff to talk about.
I was surprised that it was announced today and how it was announced right on the in the stage, but I saw it coming as well. With the success of Spider-Man and everything else, Sony needed to pick up another studio to show that they're going to be playing ball with Microsoft as well. And I think it was a smart move. It was a smart move for both companies. I'm happy for Insomniac. They deserved it. They make great games. You know, their games, kind of like what you said, Ratchet & Clank. I think even on the PS3, it looked phenomenal. So they evolving their game and adapting to the player base, and that's smart on them. And I'm happy for both of them. We just got to see what's going to happen here on out.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Now, real quick, I want to continue with the Sony train because, obviously, we would have just went into Death Stranding without having this Insomniac news, and I think that on this show, as gamers, we had to talk about it because it was an important thing, and I want people to understand that, this isn't a one-trick pony podcast or show. This is a show that celebrates and salutes all three gaming consoles, all three manufacturers. We love, for me more specifically, I can't speak for everybody else, but I have an Xbox specific show that it was run in a proper manner. There's no fanboyisms going on in that show either. So I have plenty of Sony fans showing up in that show to listen to what I have to say because I keep it 100, okay? But I want to talk about Death Stranding for a second. Now, I have publicly said that it's the first Sony first-party game that I am not buying. Not because I think the game looks terrible. I want this to be understood. I think the game is what you would expect graphically from Sony's first party. It is absolutely stunning to look at. Those movies are atypical Kojima, well-filmed, well-acted, well-voiced movies. The problem, folks, and the reason why I didn't get the collector's edition, because I have them all, and I'm telling you, I got all the collectors going back all the way to PS3. Like, I bought them all, okay? I really, really enjoy their collector's edition. The baby in the jar thing, just not for Boom. I'm going to be honest, okay? But forget that just for a second. What was on display today, every time I've seen a trailer that's supposed to explain to me as a gamer what is going on, I walk away and I watch these trailers. I watched the Death Stranding trailer twice. It's very long, so it can, obviously I have a life, so I can only watch the damn thing twice. And I walked away and I'm like, I thought that this was going to be the trailer that was going to say, boom, you have to buy this game because of this. And I'm going to be honest, I walked away scratching my head even more. Now, I will eventually get the game when it's $20, but I'm not spending full boat on this game because I still have no idea what the hell is going on. And this trailer, if you saw it, man, it might be the wackiest one. Tempestsun, I want to go to you first on this. Did you get a chance to see this trailer, and what were your thoughts about it?
Oh, God. First of all, coming from... I am somebody that has actually liked Kojima's games. I've liked Metal Gear Solid 1 through 4 quite a bit. Back in the days when I couldn't even afford my own memory card, I used to have to try to beat Metal Gear Solid 1 in the PlayStation in one go. I remember those days. So I kind of grew up with the games, and I've liked all of them. I liked 5 a bit less, but I did like 5. Honestly, what this tells me is I think Konami had a hard time keeping this guy in check. I think he has a brilliant mind that can make these games with interesting gameplay mechanics. But I guess this is what you get when you just unchain Kojima. These trailers, all the footage I've seen has made 0 sense. And I know that might sound harsh. It might be like, well, you got to play the game to get the context. What context is there for an invisible baby that still has an umbilical cord tied to a mother, phantom baby, and she's producing phantom milk? Like, just me saying it, I feel stupid talking about it. Like, I can't even stress enough. Like, just the refusal to actually show. Made a comment, oh, we'll show you a gameplay, a Tokyo Game Show. Really? Will you? I mean, I almost now what people were accusing Gears of or Rod of, is he afraid to show gameplay? Because the little bit they did, not this trailer, but last trailer, it looked really janky. I'm not gonna lie. It looked really stinking janky. And then just the character interactions, the character trailers, it just felt dry. It felt lifeless, like they were trying to explain stuff, and it just was like exposition dribble coming out of their mouth. Oh my God, I can't even. Dude, I feel bad. Okay, the nicest thing I can say about this game is it looks pretty. It looks pretty. And I guess I can leave it at that, man. It's honestly, this is going to sound crazy, but you'd have to pay me to play this game. I'll just say it. I have no interest in this game whatsoever. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, listen, it's perfectly okay. I mean, Gaming Forte, I want to go to you because, you know, this is a game that we kind of gathered. I think as gamers, like everybody on this panel has been gaming for many years. A lot of people in the chat have been gaming for many years. And with Kojima, you kind of know you're going to get your stories are going to be a little wacky. And that's just his vision. And you know what? He's an artist, and no one can tell him his vision is wrong. That's the way he makes his games. This, though, to me anyway, is on a level that I'm having a very hard time comprehending what is happening. Now, I understand, a good friend of the show, Tryhard Fan in the chat, has said multiple times that, they don't want to give the plot point away. And to your point, Tryhard, I agree with you there. But normally, there is some sort of an understanding because we've seen a lot of this game, considering that, it was announced many, many years ago. In the last few months, we've seen quite a few story trailers that seem to get more wackier. What were your takes, Gaming Forte, on what you saw today?
Man, so I was watching when because I hadn't seen it until we got ready to start the show, so I just watched it and I was like, holy crap, 17 minutes long. I was like, add that to the 8-minute one that we got earlier 2 months ago, and
yes.
you already got an episode of Martin. But look, man, I don't want to be harsh.
Harsh, man. It deserves it.
I don't want to be harsh.
Man, speak the truth.
It's kind of hard to be harsh on a game you don't even know what the heck it is at this point. It's like you go from one extreme to the next extreme, and you like first we were like, are we moving people? Are we salesmen? Are we carrying dead bodies? Are we taking them to the morgue or something? And we're pulling ladders out of our back pocket that's 30 feet long. I'm still trying to figure out what this game is at this point. And then I look at this trailer and I'm like, this just confused me even more. And maybe that's the point of it. Maybe the point is for you to go into this and, they say stuff like this sells because it's more intriguing than anything. It makes me want to know more about it. But on top of that, as I look at this, I realize that this is Hideo Kojima. And if I do, I'm signing myself up for about a 16-hour movie.
Probably.
Because that's pretty
you're
much
you're probably talking about double digit now. Whether it's 16 or 10, I couldn't tell you.
Look, man. The only reason I was able to sit through Endgame is because I knew what the story was going into it. Right. I knew it was going to be a 3-hour movie, but I knew it was going to be an amazing 3-hour movie because I knew what was at stake in that movie. I don't know if I want to sit through a 100-hour game before I even buy it to even know what the game is about. It's like this just kind of I thought I had a grasp of somewhat what it was about. I mean, I looked at some I even looked at a couple of fan channels to see what they were saying about it. And a lot of the people are saying the same thing. So it seems like some people have a little bit of insight into it. But this right here just throws that all out the window. I'm like, people, you're walking across a bridge and you got worms falling off of tanks and stuff and dead bodies carrying guns like this is like World War I or World War II. I'm like, what is this? And then this game is just trying to be deep for deep's sake. It's just trying to tell you should be riveted by what you're seeing just to say we're being riveted. And look, man, there's a reason. Part of me says there's a reason that Kojima and Konami didn't get together, because I think Tempest is absolutely correct. You know, they tried to rein the man in, and and you can't take the man's, you know, he's a poet when it comes to his vision. Metal Gear Solid is one of the best franchises you can ever play. They may be movies more than games, but they are still some of the best theater you will ever play in your life, and I suggest anybody plays all those Metal Gears because I enjoyed every last one of them. They
were amazing. This isn't doing me no favors, because guess what? I'm not tied to this franchise. It's not like Metal Gear Solid 5 when it released. I was like, I'm kind of on the fence about this one, but you know what? I'm going to play it because I'm kind of invested in the whole Solid Snake thing. So I want to see it all the way through. This is something completely new, and I'm like, well, why should I play this game just because you made Metal Gear? I mean, I don't see anything that makes me and tells me that this is the next game from Hideo Kojima I should play, other than it's going to probably be a 20-hour movie, and I'm going to probably eat breakfast 3 times before I even get a chance to see the first action in the game. So, Look,
everybody
man,
get your popcorn ready.
Look,
That's all
it's
I'm
cool.
saying.
It's pretty. It's gorgeous looking.
I agree.
Whatever Sony has under the hood for any of their systems, it stands up to that. So I think it's going to be great when it comes to a visual eye selling piece. I just want to know more about this game, and we shouldn't be saying that with the game coming out literally in just a month.
Yeah. No, you're right. I
that's
agree with you. No, that's actually really well put. Real quick, I have to thank Elemental P for the outstanding and another additional $5 super chat. Thank you, dude. Your generosity is just not to be believed. He says the game should sell gameplay and make you want to play it. Not micromanage babies for FedEx. And then, of course, our very good friend in the chat, the guy who I respect highly, and really you should check out his channel. I'm talking about Slow Mo Backslap. Says Stranding will be nominated for Game of the Year.
He might be right. Shout out to
he's
Slow-Mo.
100% correct on that.
He actually might. G-Man, why don't you just comment on this the best way you can about what was shown? What 17 minutes of really, like, it's more confusing than not. What were your thoughts on Death Stranding's reveal today, dude?
You come to me, Boom?
You know what? I'll go to you, Cybernox, because G-Man might have stepped away for a second.
Okay.
What were your thoughts on it, dude?
This game, listen, I've said this plenty of times. Not every game is for everybody, and I'll tell you this right now: this game does not, from what I've seen so far, does not look like it's for me. Okay, all you do, even from the trailer today, even when he was walking around the world, there was nothing going on. You know, and listen, I'm a big Kojima fan. When I had a PS2, I played Metal Gear Solid 2. I actually had to leave my PlayStation on for like a week straight because I didn't have a save cartridge. You know, so I've been a big fan. I love everything that he did on the Metal Gear Solid franchise. So I'm not hating against Kojima. This game just it does nothing for me.
Right.
You don't know what the game is. It's visually stunning, like everybody alluded to, but it's pretty much it. And listen, Kojima, the Metal Gear, I think it's Metal Gear Solid 4, has the longest in-game cutscene I think it's like 18 minutes long, I believe it is. And I think this game is going to beat that. Kojima is known for making long cutscenes, making games more about more than just a game. You know, it has sometimes even political views on there. This game is going to be visually stunning. It's going to have tons of cutscenes. And I think it might be just more of a, you know, walking simulator, delivering things here and there. And it could be, I don't know. But to me, this game does nothing. It looks stunning, but that's it. I don't see myself picking this game up.
Yeah, I agree. I said this, like I said, it's going to be one of the first Sony first-party games in a very, very long time. I mean, even like Persona 5, like I've never played Persona. I knew I was really taking a chance buying. I bought the Steelbook edition and everything. And, you know, after 5 hours of riding the train, I was like, well, you know, this is just not for me. But I gave it the old college effort. This game, on the other hand, you know, it has star power. It's got beauty. It's graphically, it's really good. I just, you know, some people within that are going to be in the chat today or on this panel will say, well, you know what, story maybe not as important if the gameplay is great. And like, okay, I can take that. I can take that. Some people will say, well, just a second, Boom. You give me a great story, gameplay, second fiddle, no problem. And I wouldn't argue. The problem with Death Stranding is the gameplay that we have seen. Remember, he's getting chased around by those people with the electrical prods.
Oh yeah,
It didn't look good, man. And you know, he
like
dropped the baby.
Rails,
He dropped
you know?
the baby, right? The baby went flying out when he got stung, and he had to scoop up the baby and go running, and so that didn't look good. And then you have the story. And you're like, well, gameplay not so great, story not so great. I don't necessarily know if this is for me. So I'm in agreement with everybody here.
I just want to add one more thing.
Yeah, please, by all means, go ahead, dude.
It usually takes a long time to make his game.
Yes.
A long time. In this game, I think from when he announced, it was about 3 years ago.
4.
And it's already coming, 4 years ago.
Yep.
So, he's using... I'm not sure. Usually he takes a long time. This one seems to come out a little bit before anyone was expecting it. So we'll see. You know, like I said, I think this game is going to be more of a movie than a game. It'll have some gameplay elements, but I think that's it.
No, that's a great point. And G-Man, are you back, brother?
I am back. Thank you.
Well, why don't you close out? Because I'm interested to hear your opinion on this. You know, this trailer was 17 minutes. It's beyond what you would expect for a trailer. I mean, it is Jeff Keighley's show, and I appreciate the work that the guy does. And obviously, he's a big fan of Kojima. In fact, he's in the game thanks to his fandom with they're good friends, and that's awesome, man. I take nothing away from that. What were your takeaways from the peeing and the invisible babies and is this a game that you would look to buy at full boat?
Okay, so well, number one, I just can't help it. You know, him and Kojima are good friends. My Uncle Bill and Uncle Bob have been together for 46 years, and they're just good friends. You know what I mean? There's something going on there. That's all I'm saying. I'm just kidding. I probably crossed a line there for some people, whatever. I joke around. I just joke. Look, I'm bisexual, so I mean, I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? I say what I gotta say. My bottom line is this, dude. This fucking game, it's just like what is going on here? I still don't understand what's going on here. And the thing is, when I was tuning into Xbox coverage of the of the opening night thing, somebody on his panel was like, "Yo, I'm buying it day one." Now I'm buying it day one. I'm just like, buying it day one. Why? Because the guy pulled out an electric ladder and climbed up the side of a mountain. Like, what exactly sold you on this game?
No, man, it was a magical ladder that he pulled out of his back pocket that turned 60 feet long.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Take my money. You know what I mean? Are you seriously? Like, I don't get it. I'm still lost here. What exactly am I supposed to? And the thing is, people went ape nuts over the fact Gears 5 did not show gameplay in June. The game's coming out in September, and they're not showing campaign. This is 4 years, and we still don't know what this game is doing or about, or if there's combat. I mean, is that baby God? I mean, what's going on here? You know what I mean? What's the deal? What is the deal? And the thing is, nobody cares. It's Kojima. It's Kojima. So it's all okay. It's Kojima-san. It's Kojima-san. I'm sorry. I love the Metal Gear games. Even 5. The ones some people have problems with.
I actually really enjoyed 5. I put almost 100 hours into that game. Yeah,
dude, I love 5. It's the best mechanics he ever created for a Metal Gear game. It really, because guess what? Hi, there's G-Man again. I love gameplay and mechanics priority 1.
Right.
Story I enjoy. Gameplay and mechanics have to be first, or otherwise I have no reason to hold the controller. You know what I mean? So my thing is that urinating? What?
I don't know.
What?
I mean,
what?
A quick question. Does anybody know if this game is running at 60 frames or is it 30 still?
It's probably running at 30.
I know. I mean, I need it to be 60 frames. I need to see the piss fly out the way it naturally does. You know what I mean? Like, what exactly is this? I don't get it, dude. I don't get. And the thing that really, like, I just can't help it. It's almost like nepotism. You know what I mean? Because he's such good friends. He's such good friends with Keeley. He gets 17 minutes. There were a lot of people at that today that could have used that time to promote their game. I'm not talking Gears 5. That's a big game. There's other smaller.
Well, there's other smaller games that could have used the
That's
spotlight.
what I mean. They could have used a little more time. You could have cut that down to 10, 8 minutes. You know what I mean? 17. Come on, dude.
Yeah,
come on.
I agree. I agree with you. Dude.
As far as whether I'm going to buy it or not, I am on the fence on Blair Witch, and I'm on the fence on this still. I'm not saying Blair Witch will be bad. I'm not saying Blair Witch will be bad. I'm saying I don't know enough.
Okay.
About it. And I don't know enough about this. Period.
Game Pass.
Don't know nothing about this.
Well, you know what I would like to do, because we still have about 20 minutes before 10 o'clock, and obviously people got to go to work tomorrow, and I kind of want to talk about some of the other titles that I have listed here that were highlighted in my opinion that actually looked fantastic. Disintegration. I'm not sure if anyone saw that trailer. That was being made by Halo developers. As a matter of fact, our good friend Slow-Mo Backslap in the chat did a video about it. I gotta be honest with you, man. If you saw it, it really piqued my interest. One, because it had an amazing looking story, especially with the interaction. But it really did look like a Destiny / Anthem, a mashup. And I really liked what I saw. It seemed open world. You're fighting, tons and tons of enemies. Did anyone else get a chance to see this game?
I saw what I saw because I was, trying to catch up. I was at work trying to catch up on all the news. What I saw was like 2 robots. I think they were robots. One was like going over his like hovercraft or where the heck it was. Is that all there was, or did they actually show like?
No, they actually showed gameplay. They did, yeah. It's one of those games.
Totally skipped over it, man. I gotta watch it.
If you're in the chat and you don't know what I'm talking about, it's called Disintegration. It's a very long title. It does look like a Destiny 2 / Anthem mismatch, and it looked really good. G-Man, you mentioned Blair Witch. Now, I've been on the board banging my drum for Blair Witch for a lot of reasons. One, it's a console exclusive, and what I mean, because I can't believe I actually have to say this because I'm going to get the comments if I don't. It's not available on the PS4. It's not available on Switch. So it's a console exclusive. Even though you can play it on PC, you can only play it on Xbox. You can't play it on the other one. So the fact that I have to say a disclaimer saddens me as a human. But I said it. I have a brand new pair of headphones that I was given when you go to Xbox Fan Fest. They give you like these big packs of goodies. And I got a Rig 800 XL that I have cracked open, and I'm just dying to play this game. It looks so good. I know a lot of people are like, well, I don't know, to play with the lights on, with the speakers. I'm going in dark. I'm going in with the headphones, and I cannot wait to play this game. is
There you go,
anyone on
Boom.
the panel interested in Blair Witch, which, by the way, launches on the 30th into Game Pass?
I love the horror genre. I'm
No-
100% in.
Nice. Now,
And
what,
then
what
just-
no, the trailer that you got a chance? Did you get a chance to see the gameplay trailer today?
Unfortunately, I didn't. I was at work as well.
Okay.
But I think I got a pretty good idea from the first trailer I watched. It's just hitting all the bells and whistles for me. The atmosphere is there. It looks like the gameplay. It's from the creators that made Layers of Fear, correct?
Yes.
So
yes.
yeah.
Bloober
So,
team.
yes. So as long as they can get everything, like the music right, and just you going around. I know G-Man is probably not a fan because it's more of a little bit of a walking game as well. But
Might be more gameplay
I-
to it than you think if you watch this trailer.
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
no,
I didn't
it-
watch
it-
the trailer, so
Oh,
I
oh,
don't.
Are you guys are talking about Blair Witch, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
See, that's what I mean. I have no decision on that. I don't. I'm not saying I'm not a fan. I just don't know enough yet.
Yeah, go watch the couple of especially today's gameplay trailer. Go check that out. It will answer
There
a lot
was
of questions
gameplay
for
today. There was gameplay today. Where?
you. There was a trailer for it on Inside Xbox. It was
Oh my
right.
God! See, that's the thing. Boom! I worked all day. I haven't
I
gotten
know.
a
This
chance
is-
to watch Inside
yeah.
Xbox yet. Okay, go.
yeah.
Sorry about to interrupt. Sorry.
No, don't be silly. It's okay. I mean, listen, I'm excited for it because I love horror.
Well, so do I, and I loved that movie Blair Witch, the original one. Second one was dog shit. But the
Wait
original one-
till you see, dude. I think you're gonna be sold. I'm gonna be.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think you're gonna be sold. Real quick, there's another game that was shown, and I think everyone has talked about this one podcast or another. Greedfall looks to be a medieval Mass Effect with monsters.
Oh heck yeah!
It looks like, I swear, watching the trailer, watching the interactions, they had a couple of sexual interactions, with characters. They didn't show anything, but you know what they were alluding to. The choices that you make, you have people in your party, if you don't tend to their needs, they leave. This was...
Oh yeah, that game looked amazing.
This was
Now I know
Mass
what you're
Effect
talking about.
medieval style. I saw this, and this was not on my radar. Folks, if you're still in the chat, and we have almost 150 people, which I have to say, really, thank you for making the first or the 0 episode of Primetime Gaming a raging success. This has been the most people I've had in the chat in a very long time, so thank you so much for that. If you didn't see Greedfall, the trailer was really in depth. I mean, they broke it down, and I gotta tell you, this jumped right to the top of 2019 games I must play. Who wants to talk about this?
Me too. If you don't mind,
Jump right in, please.
You said about Mass Effect. It is literally like they just took Dragon Age and Mass Effect and made them have a baby.
Pretty
And
much, yes.
This is pretty much the baby. It looks a little bit low budget, but I don't care. We need games like this. We absolutely need it. I like the fact you create your character is voiced. It's full fantasy, full on fantasy. So I'm guessing as far as gameplay elements goes, it's going to be very diverse. I'm super, dude, really looking forward to it. It looks like it's going to be in the vein of like Outer Worlds. It's that kind of game, just more Mass Effect-y instead of more like Fallout-y, you know what I mean? I'm super looking forward to that. And if I could, one more minute, what I loved about Inside Xbox is just how you feel about Greedfall. I also felt that way about Surge 2. Surge 2
Surge 2 looked fantastic. Yeah, it did.
This Inside Xbox, I think, is the best one they've done. And the reason I say that, there was no fluff in what they showed. It was trailers. I mean, they didn't spend a lot of time bringing in a developer and asking them 2 questions when you could just pick all that up from a trailer. They were nice trailers, like the Greedfall trailer. It just showed you mechanics. It walked you through it. Same thing with the Surge trailer. I loved it. I think they should do all their Inside Xbox like that, to be honest with you. I thought it was great.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it was...
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Boom. I'm sorry. Tempestsun. So Surge 2 was shown today. Where? At Inside Xbox.
It was over a 4-minute trailer, and there was a narrator, and he broke down all the game mechanics. And I went from not caring at all to caring a heck of a lot.
I got gifted the first Surge from a buddy of mine from the Army, and him and his wife gifted it to me, and because they were like in love with this game, and I was just like, well, they knew I loved Dark Souls, so I loved it. So like, you're telling? So there was a 4-minute trailer.
4-minute trailer. Yeah, you got to watch Inside Xbox. Or you're gonna be blown away. Yeah.
All right. As soon as I get off, I'll be watching Inside Xbox.
It was good, dude. There's zero fluff, and just the trailers were informative. I don't know what else to say other than it was actually. I liked it, man. I thought, good job. I liked it more than opening night live, I think.
Yeah, no, I mean, to some extent, there was opening night live had a lot of like smaller trailers that were a bit of a letdown for me. Forte, I want to get your opinion. Did you get a chance to watch Inside Xbox?
I did. I caught probably about a good majority of it, especially this part of it. I was like in and out of work just looking at it and stuff. Greedfall, I agree with you guys. I am a huge Mass Effect fan. Next to Halo, that is by far my favorite franchise, and just to see something different in that type of genre and that type of make with the creative character and stuff, I'm really super excited with that. So definitely going to get out of the try. It was the one thing I always say about Inside is just listen to you guys talk about it. I always say this about it. Like, people get upset because they don't really talk about the really big things at Inside Xbox. Granted, this was a Gamescom edition of the game of Gamescom, so it was a little bit bigger. But just listen to you guys talk about like hearing Surge 2 being shown there, and all these other games that they shown there that super excited you and stuff. And it's meant for those type of games too. It gives them more of a visibility that they normally wouldn't get. And just seeing like Devil May Cry finally hitting Game Pass, and all
that's a big one,
stuff,
dude. Yeah,
that was huge. And then they talked about the Ghost Recon stuff in the 4v4 and PUBG and their new season, which is kind of crazy. I was super blown away by the stuff that they showed, on top of like just being excited from Gears of War with all the euphoria that was giving me. Overall, I think they really, really knocked it out of the park. When it comes to probably the one that I was the most excited for, which you probably already know, I got to see Supers in trailers, and it was amazing to watch Titans punch things out of existence in a trailer. So, man, Destiny's, I can't wait for that game to come out when it comes to that new DLC. But it was overall a great day for Microsoft when it came to what they were showing off, and showing all of the little indie games that they showed off. I think they really knocked it out of the park, and it was something for everybody. And that's the one thing I love the most about Inside Xbox.
I just real quick, I'll be gaming Forte, dude. You had me cracking up there. I had to mute my microphone when you said. Now I realize you said you were wiped. I thought you said you were white. And I was about to say, so am I. You know what I mean? It's okay, bro. It's what I mean? It's everything's coming out today. You're white, fair enough. It's beautiful. You know what I mean? I was like, I don't care. The bottom line is, I just like, you guys are telling me about this Inside Xbox I missed, and I got to be honest with you, I've never been as down on Inside Xbox as a lot of people were, because I just never expected much from it. I just thought
you're gonna be pleasantly surprised. Like I said, as soon as the show is done, you're gonna
so many people like on the podcast that I was tuning into in and out of work during the what was it, the opening night live ONL. You know what I mean? A few people on the chat were saying no, Inside Xbox was better than this, and I'm just like, really?
Well, listen, real quick, I'll just break down. I'll break down exactly what was, just so you have an idea. And the chat, if you missed it, if you happen to be at work, because it's normally later on in the afternoon today, because they were in Germany. Of time difference, they had to do it early. They announced Blair Witch, Kingdom Come Deliverance, Ape Out, Bard's Tale 4, Devil May Cry 5, and Age of Empires Definitive Edition coming to Game Pass. Now, Age of Empires...
No way!
Yeah,
Devil May Cry 5 is going to Game Pass?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
sir. Yeah. So, so besides having that, besides Gears, besides having a bunch of new titles coming into Game Pass, which is amazing, they had Ghost Recon Breakpoint 4v4 on display. They had Borderlands 3. They showed gameplay we've never seen before. Looked amazing. They showed PUBG Season 4 trailer. They showed a huge chunk of the Destiny 2 DLC that's coming. They obviously have the marketing deal, which blew my mind. They showed off 2 new controllers.
What? Whose marketing deal? What are you
Microsoft is has the marketing deal for the new Destiny DLC.
Thank God.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Are you serious? They got that. Oh wow, that's pretty big. That's
I'm
big.
happy.
It's like Bungie is back at home. All right, fair enough.
Oh yeah.
They showed off something called Vigor is a new open world game that was in preview. Now it's full out there. An Empire of Sin, which is like an action RTS that takes place in the 1920s. I real quick before we, I want to close out the show with this. One of the bigger announcements that really kind of went like no one really talked about it, and I kind of want to close out the show with this, is that they confirmed that XO19 is in London, right? It's in London, England. They confirmed the date. It's going to be November 14th. And what I thought was pretty cool that no one ever gives Microsoft enough credit for was, in some of these events, E3 more specifically, I don't want to say price gouge. I'm going to say that they do clunk you over the head. It's expensive, right? Well, what they announced was that to attend this fan event that's going to be, they've already said, Aaron Greenberg said it's going to be the biggest one they've ever put on. A lot of big announcements, a lot of big stuff to get excited about. It's only going to cost £19 per ticket, right? So you're like, wow, only $20. It's U.S. money. It's probably maybe 23 and change, because of the exchange rate. So it's $19. It's under 20. It's under 19. It's under 20 pounds in Europe, which is great. And every dime is donated to a charity. They don't keep any of the money. The entire booty is completely donated to charity. That's a big deal, folks. Again, I understand Microsoft. If you're a fan and you feel like they failed you, they failed a lot of people. This generation wasn't their best. They didn't put their best foot forward, so to speak. But when you hear about stuff like this should give you, okay, well, you know what? Maybe they're gonna do better. We know they're gonna do better, but no one ever talks about this stuff. No one ever says, "Oh, Microsoft, they give to charity." When you go to FanFest, you have to pay $45, right? And every dollar of that $45, not 50%, not 80%, not 92%, 100% of all $45 for the, I don't know, thousands of people that go to FanFest is donated as well. But a lot of people don't know that. So I wanted to kind of close out with that. And listen, I'm going to say this. This has been an amazing show that at the beginning, I was a little nervous because it was just me and Tempestsun in the chat. And I was like, oh, shit. This is the first show. This is the 0 episode. And, of course, we may not get another run because no one's going to tune back in on September 9th. But it wind up, G-Man, I have to thank you for stepping in big time. And, of course, Cybernox, who's a part of the panel, he got out of work, and I appreciate you being here. So let's get into the outros. And Tempestsun, I want to start with you first, dude. Obviously, you're a diehard gamer. You have multiple consoles. And you just enjoy gaming. You are more of an MMO kind of a gamer, but you also still enjoy gaming as a whole. I want you to tell everyone where they could find you on Twitter and maybe follow you and check you out with your assassin status in Apex Legends and all the other multiplayer games that you play.
Yep, I am at the Tempestsun on Twitter. My gamer tag is Tempestsun with a space between Tempest and Sun. Yeah, I'm always looking down to chat with people. Hit me up on Twitter or just send me a message on Xbox. Yeah, I play all kinds of stuff. I'll definitely be playing. I mean, being an MMO gamer, some stuff gets pushed to the side sometimes, but I'll be able to make time, especially for Gears 5. I don't think nothing's going to get in the way. Man, Gears 5, Borderlands 3, Greedfall. This fall is going to be stupid.
Not enough time in the day.
No, there's really not. There really isn't.
Your backlog,
Yeah, just put it. Yeah, just slide that right into the backlog. You'll get to it next year in 20.
Indefinite backlog. But yeah, no, I had a ton of fun tonight. I can't wait, dude. The first actual episode of Primetime Gaming with Boom and Friends. It's going to be a day before the actual non-ultimate version of Gears 5 comes out. So we're going to have a few days to play it. We're going to be getting a review for you guys. It's going to be awesome. Tune in. I couldn't be more excited for it. It's going to be...
Well, I definitely appreciate you being a part of the panel, dude. It's great to have you. And thank you so much for being here tonight on this special episode. And of course, Gaming Forte, my brother from another mother. Listen, dude, I love what you do with the community. I love what you do on Brap. I love what you do on Luca's show. And of course, your YouTube channel, I think it's getting close to 1,300 subs, which is a big deal, is amazing. Yes, please tell everyone where they can find you, sub you, like your stuff, and also follow you on Twitter.
Yeah, really, man, this was an amazing show. I was supposed to close at work today, but then when Boom said he wanted to do the special show, I was like, I got to be there for my man. So I changed my schedule up to make sure I could get here for this one.
I appreciate it very much.
But but as he already said, it's Nautical on Xbox Live. You know, Gaming Forte everywhere else, because gaming is definitely my forte. I do nothing but just want to play games and leave all the other nonsense behind. I'll converse with people on stuff, but, you know, just know that when it comes to me and the content I make, I try to be as even keel as possible, but I will say how it is and how I feel about different things. But if you like that, Gaming Forte on YouTube, we'll be putting up a video later on today about, well, actually probably right after this, about the Spider-Man stuff, because I got a lot of stuff to say about Insomniac. I want to praise more on them. And Twitter, gaming_forte. And other than that, man, I really appreciate it. Hit that like button on your way out, because this is only the beginning. 0 episode starts now.
Yeah, well, I definitely appreciate that. Cybernox, I want to thank you so much for popping in, you know, because you obviously you were doing some stuff at work. I was saying, it was funny, I was saying that he's being crunched at work. Maybe he'll have a lawsuit. I don't know. But,
but doesn't work like that in the real world.
Yeah, no, it certainly does not. Great to have you on today's show. Great to have you on the panel as a regular weekly member. I couldn't be more thrilled to work with you on a weekly basis. Please tell everyone where they could sub the Caped Crusader, as well as follow you on Twitter.
Let me shed a tear, Boom. Thank you so much. Nah, man, it was amazing being here. I always love, you know, coming in your shows. I feel honored to be, you know, a member of the new Primetime podcast. And it was great, man. It was great being here with G-Man, you know, first time on a podcast with Gaming Forte. I'm a big fan. And Tempestsun as well. You know, I'm easy. I'm Cybernox all across the board on Xbox Live, Twitter, everywhere else. Yeah, you know, I'm just looking. I'm getting a little bit more time in my hands right now. We're a little bit of crunch at work, but once I get a little bit more time, I'll start popping in more videos. I've been slacking a little bit, but it's always a pleasure. Kind of like what Forte alluded to. Hit that like button on your way out. Boom is a great host, and keep a lookout for the new podcast coming soon.
Yeah, thanks so much. To appreciate it. And of course, G-Man, who I've worked with before. I enjoy working with. Love because we're New York guys. We're ex-military guys, right, G-Man? So
amen.
So, you know, we obviously have a connection. This was a last minute thing. Like, I literally hit G-Man up. I said, G-Man, we go live in 1 minute. What do you think? And of course, he responded like a superhero. G-Man, please tell everyone where they can follow you. And of course, check out your stuff, dude.
All right, you can always follow me at Soren6611. That's my Twitter handle. You know, you'll see the name I use is Gman1172, but the handle is at Soren, Soren 6611. Anybody who watches the new Halo show coming to Showtime in 2021, it's Soren66 is going to be a character in it.
Yes, that's correct.
Right, I saw you mentioned it in one of your videos, Boom,
yes.
And I know him from Halo Evolutions. It's an interesting story, and I don't know. When I was in the military, I was like, I love that story. So I'm going to use that as my Twitter handle.
Nice.
You know what I mean? I recently moved. I'm still in the same neighborhood, so I'm literally looking at a room full of boxes. Jessica's over in the sitting room, and she was like, I was telling her, look, I'm going to get on a podcast. I'm going to do a podcast. She's like, okay, go do the podcast. And I know why you wanted me to do the podcast, because I'm not watching Xbox Inside Xbox. She gets to watch Netflix now. You know what I mean? So look, you got trade-offs, Boom. You know how it works.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But anyway, I was an honor to come on. I was so glad I got your message in time. I love doing these podcasts. All you guys are awesome. I love hearing everybody's take. Let's keep gaming positive. I don't understand why people get angry and just like, oh, what about you? And what about yours? And what about that? Just let it go, guys. Play on anything, if possible. Everything.
Yes, absolutely. Now, that's a great way to close it out. Well, first of all, I have to thank the chat. First of all, 150 people to show up on a new show is really it's humbling in a way that you guys don't understand. For me to do a night show the way I was able to set it up is a dream come true, and I'm following in tremendous footsteps of like the Mooches and the Dealers and the Colt Eastwoods and of course Enrique from Brap. And, obviously Salty has a night podcast. And being able to be in that 5-day rotation on a Monday evening is really just, for me, a dream come true. And, of course, I cannot thank the outstanding generosity that has been bestowed upon me by this community. Folks, you don't understand that it really is unbelievable that I cannot thank you enough for all of the super chats. And listen, I want to end today's show with just two real simple things. This is something that my dad taught me when we were kids, and it worked well in my New York City police career for 21 plus years. Treat others how you want to be treated. Real simple. And the second one, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. And I'll leave it at that. Folks, thanks again for coming out and making this a smashing success. And we will see you on the brand new show that's officially launching episode 1 on September 9th of the new show that I put together, Primetime Gaming with Mr. Boomstick and friends. Have a fantastic evening, everyone. Take care, be safe, and just enjoy gaming.